Hello and good morning and a very warm welcome to all of you on the second day of Tata Literature Live 2020, the 11th annual Mumbai International Litfest and the first one to be completely digital. Huge thank you to our title sponsors Tata as well as our co-sponsors Tata Steel and Tata Projects. Now, we are kicking off the little festival for kids like you and me right here with our first session today. Like me? Of course I'm a kid. Come on, I'm a kid at heart. In fact, did you know I'm also Egyptian? Because I'm a mummy. I'm very excited to be here at the very first session of the little festival today, Osiris's Coffin, Decoding Hieroglyphics, where we are going to join Geetanjali Shetty Kaul as she unravels the history of inventions and the mystery of this Egyptian ruler. But first, let's get to know a little bit about Geetanjali before she takes us on this magic carpet ride. Geetanjali knits stories to engage with listeners, helping them embark on a journey to inner transformation. She's a performative storyteller, she's a parents coach, a voice coach, and a creative and mindfulness coach. And she has more than 2 decades of experience as a teacher and a consultant with international schools. So, is everybody ready with their papers and pens and colors and, of course, your imagination? But also a quick reminder that there will be a question and answer session at the end of Geetanjali's session. So remember to keep sending us your questions right through her storytelling and all the other things that she's going to take you through. You can enter your questions along with your name on the chat box or the comments panel of whatever platform you're watching us on. So let's start our very first session of the little festival right here at Tata Literature Live 2020, Osiris's Coffin. Over to you, Geetanjali.
Thank you so much, Meher, for introducing me. So I request all of you to sit on this magic carpet ride as I take you on to a time. Let's sit on the magic carpet and fly, fly, fly across fields, oceans, deserts, mountains, beyond time, from darkness to dawn to dusk. Let's travel, and let's travel. And you will see your carpet landing outside a secret passage door. This door has no key, no lock, no latch. It opens inwards. A luminous glow of light welcomes you. You walk inside the secret passage door onto a dark tunnel. The cracks in the tunnel bring light and guide you inwards as you walk through these passages and come on the other side of the tunnel. As you reach there, you now see a bridge, an imaginative bridge, rainbow bridge. You walk up, climb up the bridge, reach the other side. You hear the sound of the gurgling stream, the river flowing, butterflies fluttering, bees buzzing, beautiful honeycomb, flowers smelling, and fresh breeze. You go and sit near the bank of the river. You dip your feet and the water is cool. The fish comes and tickles you. This is no ordinary river. This is River Nile. And on the sides, I pick up a stone. I wipe and wash the stone. On these stones are stories of those times. And this one is the oldest of all. The oldest story of inventions, mystery, magic. A spell that fell upon earth years ago. Story of Osiris and Isis. So in the beginning of Egypt, people still lived in small tribes, wandering hither, thither for food, for wild animals. As they were hunting and they were in small tribes, there were often disagreements that led to war and bloodshed. One day, two travelers, tall and stately, entered this land. They walked through the fields, the forest, and they began singing. The man was holding a piece of bamboo, a hollow piece of bamboo with two holes in it. And the woman was singing a song. The tribes had never heard or seen something like this before. It was as though there was music falling on earth for the first time. People were in awe and surprise and wonder. These were two divinely beings. They began singing, music, playing, and they went and sat near the bank of the river. People just followed them. The tribes figured that they were not ordinary beings. These two people, these two travelers, were Osiris and Isis. They spoke such great wisdom that people just listened to them for hours. Soon the tribes realized that they were really no ordinary beings. So they asked Osiris and Isis to become the king and the queen. So soon Osiris and Isis began ruling this kingdom. And everything changed. It was a new way of life. These tribes who once fought against each other, war against each other, were now in peace with each other. Osiris taught everyone to build mud houses. They built little mud houses on top of little hillocks so that the village would never get flooded and the Nile River never rose high. Osiris also taught them how to make the soil fertile and grow crops, wheat, barley, flax. In turn, Isis taught them how to spin and weave flax into linen for clothing. Men those days dressed in skirts and women dressed in long fitted dress made up of white linen. Not only just food and clothing, Osiris also taught them many things. Osiris taught how they could dig canals from the river to the field, and the water beds were created. People would put in buckets and water the plants so that the crops wouldn't die. Oh, that wasn't enough. You know, the river Nile would flow in several branches before it meets the sea. And the land between these branches were always warm. So you couldn't grow crops here. What grew here was some plants called reeds or papyrus. You know, the king, Osiris, was very wise. He wouldn't waste a single thing that was growing on this land. He wanted to make use of everything. So he told the people of Egypt how they could use the papyrus as well. He said, cut the stem, strip off the outer layer, and inside is the finer skin. Remove it carefully and make long strips. And that's what people of Egypt did. They made long strips and put them in layers, horizontally and vertically on a wooden board, and began beating and beating and beating with the wooden beater, beating and beating and beating until it turned into a thin pipe. And when this pulp dried, it was looking like a coarse sheet of paper, just like this. And this was the first time paper was invented in this world, made of papyrus skin. Now that paper was invented, Osiris also invented ink, and he added some glue in it called glue Arabic, so that whenever you write, it sticks on the paper. But those days there were no scripts as well. So Osiris also invented a script called picture writing. So the picture writing was the picture that you will make out of the word. For instance, if you had to write God, then you could draw gate, orange and dog. Gate, orange and God would mean, gate, orange and dog would mean God. And you could also draw some symbols, some signs to make people understand what you have drawn. Now this was a very slow way of communication, but this was the first form. And it was called hieroglyphics, which means holy writing, as it was taught by the holy god Osiris himself. Those days, in the early days, these writings were only used for holy things like writing prayers, writing stories of gods. Slowly and slowly people started following all the scriptures that were written, and there was happiness and contentment on the land. Osiris and Isis continued to rule Egypt for many, many years. Osiris's brother Set was also God, but he had a wicked spirit. Set was not happy. He hated Osiris's wisdom. He hated Osiris's goodness. Set wanted to attack Osiris. So Set changed into a human form and came on earth. And he began ruling the African tribe. He made them his gang, his warriors, made them savage and cruel, so much that they would go and burn the crops and attack the villages. But every time they went, armies of Osiris drove off the invaders. Many attempts of Set just failed. Now Set was plotting, he was scheming. He knew he had to work in a different way. So one day he sent a messenger to Osiris. The messenger spoke. "You are my brother. We have to live in peace. Let's stop this fight and have a feast of coming together." And this melted Osiris's heart. He could not believe his ears. He was all set to invite Set to the palace and throw a feast in the banquet. So he invited Set. Set came with 72 black warriors. Now Queen Isis was suspicious about Set's behavior. She warned Osiris, but Osiris answered, "This is the first time my brother has changed. I only want to celebrate this occasion. Come, let's celebrate." But Queen Isis stayed in her chamber and she chose to rest, although her heart was heavy pumping. Meanwhile, in the banquet, dishes were served. Beautiful maidens were pouring sparkling wines to the courtiers and the warriors. Together they toasted Set and Osiris. They sat next to each other. At the end of the feast, Set spoke. "I have a surprise for all of you." He went to the corner. He pulled out the cloth. And under the cloth was a great box, beautifully carved with wood, and to which there were strange designs and patterns filled with gold and jewels. The candles lit over there were making the box glitter more and more. Everyone looked at this in awe and surprise. They were gasped at the beauty, the exquisite beauty. They all wanted this box. Seth continued. On occasion of my brother Osiris's and me coming together, I would love to give this box to the most deserving one here. Now you all see that this box is huge and big. Whoever will fit exactly into this box will get this box as a gift. Everyone tried one by one. Some of them were short, some of them were thin, long, but everyone just couldn't fit exactly, perfectly into the box. Everyone tried, and now it was Osiris's turn. Seth cunningly and swiftly and with a crafty smile looked at his brother. It's your turn, Osiris, my brother. Osiris rose from his seat and went and lay in the coffin. Seth laughed ferociously. And he slammed the lid down, bolted it. He called his warriors who came with the nail and a hammer, tock, 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 so that Osiris does not escape from here. And soon Seth's warriors pulled out the weapon under the cloth and chopped all the courtiers' head off the King Osiris's. Seth screamed into the river with Osiris's coffin. And the coffin was lifted into the river. They threw it. And soon a flame of light came to the sky. It lit up the place and disappeared. And the coffin was carried away by a swift current. Queen Isis was haunted by dreams. She woke up and she saw the flame. She knew that Osiris's spirit had left the body. And she knew any time Seth's warriors would come to attack her. She was just telling her magic spell when Seth's warriors entered her chamber, and all they saw was a bird swallow, flying, and vanished into darkness. Oh, Isis, poor Isis, she was now in search of her husband's coffin. For days and nights and months, she was looking for his coffin. And after several months, she found it. She took it to the hiding onto a swampland. And at this time, she also gave birth to her son, Horus. Now, Horus was born with an animal head, a bird's head, and human body. You know, those days Egyptians believed that animals and birds were wiser than humans. You know, the birds, they can fly miles and miles and miles without compass or maps, and how beautifully the honeycomb is made. So yes, everybody worshipped animal-headed beings. So Isis knew that Horus was born to kill the wicked Seth and become the ruler of Egypt. But now she had to save her life. She was in danger. So she left the coffin behind because every moment she was warned by the Egyptian men. She left the coffin and she took the child and she ran for her life. Once in the morning, Seth came and he found the coffin. He opens the coffin and he sees the dead body. Chop it into 14 pieces and throw it into the river Nile for the crocodiles to munch on. The pieces were thrown in the river Nile. The most ferocious crocodiles would not eat the holy body of Osiris. The pieces were found in different banks of the river. And soon temples were dotted in each part of the land, and people worshipped for years. Horus was also growing, and while he was growing, Egyptian men secretly made battle, became ready to create a battle. They made axes, bows, arrows, sword, and they were just waiting for the Horus to give them a command to fight against Seth. One night, when Horus was sleeping in his tomb, his father came, dressed in royal robes, and said, "My son, you were born to kill the wicked Seth. After I left the earth, I'm now become the judge of human souls, and the kingdom in heaven is beautiful, filled with loving goodness. My dear son, I bless you with all the strength to fight against it. And soon there were showers of blessings and light around Horus, and Osiris disappeared. Now how Osiris was blessing his son Seth all the time, and how Seth took the avenge of his father's death is a story for another time. So that's the story for all of you, the mystery behind Osiris's coffin and the inventions of the Egyptian civilizations. Thank you so much for listening. So we are going to see the hieroglyphics, and I'm going to show you a slide now. So this is the original hieroglyphics. You could see how the picture writing has been made. So what each letter stands for, and the picture that stands for it. So I have written here the sentence in hieroglyphics. I'm going to give you all 60 seconds. I'm going to give you all 60 seconds to decode hieroglyphics right now. Your time starts. I'm waiting 60 seconds. Find the picture and find the letter. "60 seconds, we crossed 30 seconds already. I hope you're all finding. Look at the picture and look at the letter. So now with 30 seconds, 40, 5, 50, and I'm counting. Countdown begins. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the answer is the next slide. Life is beautiful. So you could create your own hieroglyphics, and you could keep playing games around it. You can send messages to everyone in the family using hieroglyphics. So over to you, Meher. I hope you like the story.
Yes, of course, Geetanjali. It was a beautiful story, and I love the way you said it and narrated it. It was full of emotion and color. Fab.
Thank you. So we've got some question answer, I guess.
Yes, we do. Here's our very first question from one of our viewers on YouTube. She's Amy Menezes, and she asks, what are the 3 most important elements in telling a story?
First of all, you need to feel the story. So the story has to come to you. So I have been like for long in love with the story. I have no clue why. So I think I believe in the power of goodness over evil. And I just feel like Osiris is always around me. And whenever there is music on earth, I feel Osiris and Isis are playing it. So to feel the element of his story, what is that is catching you in the story? And how much importance you give to the bright side of the story, you have to give the equal amount of importance to the dark side of the story.
Right.
So the polarities have to come in your story, and transformation has to take place. You cannot leave the story in a trigger point. And apart from that, yes, the skills are visuals, detailing, voice work. So that's
super. So give us a bit of insight into how you started with your passion for Egyptian stories and hieroglyphics.
Honestly, as I said, I've always been fond of mythologies, starting from Babylonian civilizations. I'm also fond of Indus civilization, and I'm fond of, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata. I think these are the stories that we have all lived. It's in our nerves. So it just
That's
naturally starts flowing, and, I'm a great fan of change making. So, I also love to read a lot. So, I've got this book called The Hero with a Thousand Faces. It's written by Joseph Campbell. And he's the father of mythology. So that's how I think it's been just pouring and pouring. It's been in the family. I'm born in a Shetty family. So I'm grown also with a lot of stories.
super. We have Anusuya from YouTube who asks that hieroglyphics look like fun, and she says they remind her of emojis. So how can
Yeah.
she make her own?
Oh, lovely. Yeah, you can create your own hieroglyphics. And I created many. I've done a lot of workshop with kids, and we've created so much decoding and mystery, and we played games with hieroglyphics. So it's fun. And nothing like writing messages and spending some time reading it. It also activates your brain, the right and the left brain.
Of course. And so can you recommend some books for kids to read for Egyptian stories and hieroglyphics?
Yeah, hieroglyphics is one of the part of the Egyptian story, mighty thing. And yeah, but there are a lot of books available on Egypt mythology, um, and also on Greek mythology. And one of my favorite is Charles Kovas. So I'm also a Waldorf educator. So I love the way Charles writes everything about mythologies.
Okay. So we have Raina from YouTube who asks, how do I become a storyteller?
Tell her to join my course. I run a certificate course on the art and craft of storytelling, and I've completed 50 batches. And
Wow.
so it's called the Secret Passages. So she can follow
Okay.
the website as well.
Okay. And Nisha Joshi from YouTube, she asks, I think you just answered that question, but I'm just going to ask it. What are the books one should read to know more about Egyptian history?
See, personally, as I mentioned that it's all here and there. I think as a storyteller, you don't get stuck to one book. You become a researcher.
Hmm.
So, you visit the museum, you can visit the museum. If you're in Mumbai, the CSMVS museum is first, I mean, it's one of the top place where you could get a lot of information of the Egyptian times. So
Hmm.
travel, write, read, connect, talk. That's how you start becoming a researcher in storytelling. So like today when I share the story, I have like picked up many things from here and there.
Right,
It's not just one script, and I hate actually reading from one script myself.
right. So, any closing remarks before we end this session?
I'm really thankful to Tata Literature Live for giving me this opportunity. I'm thankful to Akanksha Akshara Foundation, to Reena Agarwal for giving me this opportunity, and I'm hoping to touch many hearts through stories.
And of course, you have touched many hearts this morning. Thank you so much, Geetanjali, for helping us kick off the little festival right here at Tata Literature Live. That was an amazingly fun session.
And thank you to the team.
Thank you so much, Geetanjali. So a huge thanks to Gitanjali, of course, for that amazing storytelling session and everything she taught us this morning. And for all of you today, thank you so much for joining us. Now, our next session for kids is Stories Ka Pitara, where you get to listen to a story wearing a blindfold. How cool is that? So that happens at 11:30. And also remember this afternoon at 2:45, there's a very special musical retelling of one of Hans Christian Andersen's iconic tales called The Snow Queen. And anybody over 5 can enjoy this session. The performance is actually happening live from France, so definitely make it a point to log in for that. And if you get inspired by all these wonderful writers and sessions we have here at Tata Literature Live, And if you would like to pen down your own poems, then we would be happy to put them up on our website. And you can do that by emailing us on info@litlive.in. I'm going to repeat that email ID. It's info@litlive.in. So definitely send us your poems and we'll put them up on our website. Now you can buy all the books that we spoke about today from our bookstore partner, Tata Click. The festival social media handle is @Tata Litlive. So you can actually watch all the sessions that are happening across any social media platform that you feel like. Huge thank you again for being a part of Tata Literature Live 2020, and remember to keep logging in for all the sessions of the Little Festival for Children, and you can tell your parents to log into the main festival as well. Stay safe and see you again soon.